Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. To all year 6 students who are watching this year 6 video lesson. Before we start our lesson, let us recite dua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni 'ilma warzuqni fahma. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Okay, moving on to the topic for this video lesson, we are still in 3.3.3 solar system, and the topic for this week would be the sun and the planets and the 8 planets. We also have touched about the next two topics that we have talked about in our previous lesson, the size of the sun and the distance of the sun to the earth. Now, if you have forgotten about these two topics, the one I highlighted below here, you can check in my YouTube channel, The Science Class Brunei, and check on the previous video, if I'm not mistaken, the sun and the earth, if I'm not mistaken. But you can check there in my previous video YouTube channel, The Science Class Brunei. Moving on to our objective for this video, it is to explain that the sun, earth and moon are part of the solar system. And then our objective would be describe the sun as a star that gives out heat and light energy. And these two other objectives describe the 8 planets in our solar system and how they revolve around the sun. And also, like I said, that we have touched in our previous videos, compare the sizes of the sun and the earth and describe the distance of the sun to the earth that I have talked about in my last two videos, if I am not mistaken. Okay, now moving on to the step to success. What must we do to achieve the objective? Just now is to talk about the solar system and talk about planets in the solar system. Moving on to our lesson for today, the solar system. Now before that, this is a picture of our solar system, more or less. Now, like I have explained before, all the drawings, most of the drawings in the internet, Google or whatsoever in the internet, are not to scale. So the real size is not like this. The real distance is not like this. It's not to scale, but it is more or less to illustrate how or where the planets are and how they are arranged in our solar system. So the sun, the moon, the earth and other planets make up the solar system. So all this sun and so on until here are called our solar system. The sun lies in the center of the solar system. Now the sun that you can see over there is actually in the center of our solar system. I will explain to you later on. Now you can see here there are a few planets. If you can see here, actually there are 8 planets, including the sun is not a planet, but then that one, Mercury, Venus, and then Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune are the 8 planets in our solar system. There are 8 planets revolving around the sun, like we have learned. Revolves mean to orbit around the sun like this. To move around the sun, this is called revolving around the sun. Okay, now there are Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. So these are the 8 planets that you need to remember for science year 6. moving on to like the Earth, all the planets rotate about its axis. Now we have learned about axis like this, which means that it's turning around like this. Now this is revolving. Now remember, this is revolving. If this is the sun and this is the planet, our Earth, we have learned that this is called revolving. Um, Rotate means it the planet itself or the Earth moving like that or like that actually, round and round and round like in this picture. Okay, so all the planets rotate about the axis, whether it's Mercury or Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, or Neptune. So every planet in our system, in our solar system, rotates about its axis. So as I told you before, the sun is located in the middle of our solar system. Like, and I also mentioned that this is not up to scale. The real scale is not like this, it's quite different. But to make you understand, to illustrate it better, easier, so we can see here. So this line, like we have learned, is called the orbit for. This line is for Neptune. Orbit for Neptune. There's no line actually. There's no line like this, but it's just to show you where the Neptune revolves. So Neptune would revolve here, and this one is Uranus would revolve here, around here. Okay, and I think you understand that. So this is our solar system. The sun is in the middle and others is around the sun, revolve around the sun. Okay, there are 8 planets in our system, solar system. Okay, there are 8 planets in our solar system here: Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. But to make it easier to remember the names of these planets, because you are new, maybe this is the first time you heard the names of the planets in our solar system, so it's kind of hard to remember the arrangement. Where does Mercury lies in? So to make it easier, there are 2 simpler ways, words or ways that you can use to remember. These words is easy to remember. Just remember that every first word it represent a planet in our solar system. Example here, my this part, yeah. My very energetic mother just served us noodles, which means easy to say, easy to explain: Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Okay, or you can use the other one, the bottom part: my very elderly mother just sent us Nintendo. So it's the same actually: Mercury, Venus, Earth, mm, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. This is one method to remember the position of the planets in our solar system. We start with the sun, of course, and then M for Mercury, V for Venus, E for Earth, M for Mars, J for Jupiter, S for Saturn, U for Uranus, and N for Neptune. Okay, now moving on to learning a bit more about our solar system. We start with the sun. The sun is a star. So this is a star because this star is very close to us. We can feel the heat and we can see it's very bright. So the star in the sky at night, if you see the star in the sky, there's some shining, what we call star, that is also, they say, scientists say, it's also suns all around the universe. There are lots of sun, and these suns are very bright, but it's very far from us. That's why you only see a little light from it. Okay? Now, it is made up of huge mass of very hot gas. Okay? It is the nearest star to the Earth. It is at the center of the solar system. The sun diameter is 109 times bigger than that of the Earth. The diameter is here. This is diameter. Uh, this is called diameter. Its size is 109 times bigger. Okay. It gives out its own light. It is our main source of heat and light energy, and the sun helps us to keep us warm and help plants to grow in earth. Okay, that is some facts about the sun. Next planet, next, that is the star, the sun. We shall move on to Mercury, which is the first planet in our solar system. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system and the closest planet to the earth. Small dark gray. So Mercury is a small dark gray planet, less than half the size of the earth. It takes Mercury 59 days for one rotation about its axis. One rotation means about its axis, it turns around like this for 59 days. For us in Earth, it took us 24 hours. Pusingan, one turn around Earth. This is the Earth. To turn like this day and night, the Earth takes 24 hours. For Mercury, it's different. One turn of the Mercury around its axis takes 59 days, and it is very long. Okay? It takes Mercury 88 days to revolve around the sun. Okay, this is the sun, and this is Mercury. To turn around like that, okay, it takes 88 days. To compare with Earth, we took 365 1/4 days. So there's a difference. Okay. Now it has no atmosphere and no moon. Atmosphere means air that we can breathe like in the Earth. Okay. Next planet that we need to see is Venus. Venus is the fourth smallest planet in the solar system. It is about the same size as Earth. It is very hot with thick carbon dioxide atmosphere. It is the brightest object in the night sky after our moon. It takes Venus 243 days for one rotation about its axis. It takes Venus 225 days to revolve around the sun. Venus has no moon. To talk about this one, Venus takes 243 days for one rotation day and night. Day and night for 243 days, which means that if it's daytime, it takes 121 and a half days for daytime. Siangnya 121. Ooh, imagine if it's Ramadan. It's very hard to fast there. Okay, moving on to the next planet, which is our Earth. The Earth is the only planet in the solar system that is known to contain life. It is the only planet with air, water, and living things. It takes Earth 24 hours for one rotation about its axis. It takes Earth 365 1/4 days to revolve around the sun. Earth has one moon. Okay. Next planet would be Mars. Mars is the third smallest planet in the solar system. It is about the same size, half the size as Earth. So Mars is smaller than Earth. Earth would be bigger, like more or less like that. This is Earth, and this is Mars, half, half the size. It is also called the red planet because of its red colored rocks and dust. It takes Mars 24.6 hours for one rotation about its axis. It takes Mars 69 days, to revolve around the sun. Mars has two moons. If you want to take a look more about Mars, you can check in the internet. There are lots of pictures about Mars. They sent some kind of robot to Mars and took pictures in Mars. So you can take a look at those pictures. I think I don't remember what's the name of the robot that they sent to Mars, but there are pictures in Mars. Okay, moving on to the next planet would be Jupiter. Now, to tell you this line that I drawn here, it's only to show you that this planet is round. All planets are round, more or less round. So I need to show you. Sometimes you can see that because here there's a shadow, so you can't really see it's round, but it's actually round. So next planet would be Jupiter. Jupiter is the largest planet in the solar system. The surface of the Jupiter consists of clouds of gas. It takes Jupiter 10 hours for one rotation about its axis. It takes Jupiter 12 years to revolve around the sun. Jupiter has 63 moons. So this is Jupiter. To know more about it, you can check in Google. Okay, moving on to the next planet would be Saturn. Okay, now like I said, the round, there's a shadow here, shadow. So I drawn the line to show you that it's round. Now, Saturn is the second largest planet in the solar system. It takes Saturn 11 hours for rotation about its axis. It takes Saturn 30 years for rotation around, revolving around the sun. I'm sorry, there's some cut there. It revolves around the sun. It takes 30 years. Okay, Saturn has more than 60 moons. Next, okay, now this one is called Uranus. So this is Uranus. I'm not sure where's the Uranus here, the name. So this is Uranus, is the second furthest planet from the sun. It looks pale green and has some thin rings. So this is the thin rings. See? Here it's thin. Uranus has many rings made of rocks coated with ice. It takes Uranus 16 hours for one rotation about its axis. It takes Uranus 84 years to revolve around the sun. Uranus has 27 moons. Okay, moving on to the last planet, which is the Neptune. Neptune is the second largest planet in the solar system. It is the furthest planet from the sun. So this is the furthest. Now before this, we also say, before this, I've learned that when I'm in primary school, I've learned that Pluto is the furthest planet. When I'm in primary school, there are 9 planets. But then due to some reason, Pluto is not considered planet in our solar system. Okay, it is a gas planet about the size of Neptune. It takes Neptune 16 hours for one rotation about its axis. It takes Neptune 165 years to revolve around the sun. So to revolve around the sun 165 years, we take 365 days. Neptune took 165 years. So Neptune has 13 moons. Okay. Okay, now we have done talking about some facts about planets in our solar system. Now let's take a look at life in the solar system. So if you can see here, like I said, this is the planet. Now I've shown you here, this is Earth. The distance between Sun and Earth, it takes about 150 million kilometers. The distance between Sun and Earth. Okay, now light travels at 300 million meters per second. It takes the light from the sun about 8 minutes to reach the Earth. Now it's always hot and light travels very fast. It only from sun to Earth it's only took 8 minutes. Our planet Earth is the only planet that have living things, that has living things, only the Earth. Others, no. Okay, it's spherical in shape. They don't really call it round, they call it spherical. It's more or less the same word. The distance between the sun to the earth is 150 million kilometers. Okay, there are two main reasons why life is possible on earth. One is factors. Okay, now there are two reasons here, factors that enable Earth to support life. This is a table. So one reason is the atmosphere. Atmosphere provide living things with oxygen. Atmosphere provide plants with carbon dioxide to make, so plants can make food, of course. Provide living things with water, and then prevents heat from escaping into space, and thus keeps the right temperature for living things, block harmful rays from the sun. Okay, atmosphere includes the sky and the clouds. So these things, air, water, helps us to live, helps living things. Now, living things, as I've told you before, as we have learned before, living things are plants, animals, and human. So these things is very important. Plants need carbon dioxide, we need oxygen, we need water, plants need water, and we need a bit warmth, a bit heat. Plants need a bit warm to grow, and some animals need warmth to stay alive. Most animals need warmth to stay alive. So the atmosphere help us to achieve this. Okay. The next reason why life is possible on Earth would be good position. It is not too far and it is not too close to the sun. Okay, the right amount of heat energy received to keep living things warm, and right amount of heat energy to drive the water cycle that provide consistent supply of water, or constant supply of water. And then light energy received is sufficient for plants to make their own food. Okay, here, if you can see here, okay, sorry. Now this is very important. These are the two reasons why life is possible on Earth. One is the atmosphere, contains oxygen, it contains carbon dioxide, and it contains water. And second would be good position. It is not too close yet not too far. It gives the right amount of energy, heat energy, and right amount of light for our plants, heat energy for us and living things all around us. Okay. Moving on to other objects in the solar system. Now we have learned about sun, and we have learned about the 8 planets. And now there are many more objects that we can find around our solar system. Now, other objects in the solar system include comets and asteroids. Comets is different, asteroid is a different thing. Let me explain. Comets is this. This is a picture of comet. Okay. Now, what is a comet? Comets are balls of ice and dust that orbit the sun. This is comet and it orbits around the sun. I'm not sure how it orbits, but it orbits around the sun. It moves around. So that is what we call comets. How do they know? It moves around the sun because there's some scientists have researched this. Some comets come back after years and years. They come back again and again. Okay. Now, most comets cannot be seen as they are too small or too far away, but sometimes they can be clearly seen. Okay, when they are near the sun, because their long tail reflect sunlight like in this picture. Now remember, this is balls of ice and dust that orbits around the sun. Sometimes we can see it, sometimes we don't. If it's close enough to the sun, we can see it. Okay. Next, asteroids. What are asteroids? Now, asteroids are space rocks that orbit the sun. Now, some asteroids may be large and some are small, like in the TV that you have seen in the movies, asteroids. Okay, most asteroids orbit around the sun between Mars and Jupiter. Now, you can see here, that's the Earth, and this is Jupiter. So this is called asteroid belt. This is asteroid belt. What we call asteroid belt. Okay, why do we call asteroid belt? Because there are lots of asteroid here. There are lots of asteroids and it orbits around the sun. Okay, another picture that I can show you like this, more or less here. Look at here. That's one. This is Jupiter, and that's Mars over there, and this line would be asteroid. So you can see here, that one is asteroid. The picture that I've shown you just now, that's asteroid. That is called asteroid belt. It's the same, more or less. It's not up to scale, but it's more or less. An asteroid look like this. It's rock like this, and it floats and it orbits around the sun. How does it asteroid orbit around the sun? I don't know. Only Allah knows. I'm not sure about this, but we learned that this asteroid orbits around the sun. Okay, moving on to other man-made objects in the solar system. We do have comets, we do have asteroids. Now we also mentioned about man-made objects in the solar system. We have a few in the solar system. In the space, is there one is satellite. There are also many man-made objects in the space. Example, satellites like here. Communication satellites are man-made objects that send and receive information to and from the Earth. They are used in telecommunication, television, internet, and global positioning system. Now, when we say GPS is actually like a signal. When we say, oh, send GPS, or we say that send GPS, actually we are sending a signal from our handphone to the satellite above. Here, satellite up in the space, and the satellite will send back our position to someone that we send to. Example, in WhatsApp, sometimes we say send location on our WhatsApp, send location. Okay, usually we do have that thing happening. Now we want to go somewhere and we always ask our friend or someone, send location. Now actually that happened. We send our location, and then the location will go to the satellite, and the satellite will send back to the friend that we sent to. Okay, that's GPS. And there's another one, more or less like GPS. We call it GLONASS. GLONASS is from Russia, so the name is GLONASS. You can look further about that in the internet in your own time. Okay, moving on to the second object, International Space Station. Man-made object in the solar system is this International Space Station. The International Space Station is a large spacecraft in orbit around the Earth. It serves as a home where crews of astronauts and cosmonauts live. Okay, this one. This is a place where astronaut and cosmonaut live. They live here. What do they do? Maybe they do experiment. Of course, they do experiment. Things that they need to do, they test it here, and the result would be sent to the Earth. Okay. Next, another object, man-made object, space shuttle. So this is a space shuttle that you have seen in the internet. See, you can find this in the internet. Space shuttles are used to carry people and cargo into space, and they will send things, people and cargo, to International Space Station. Okay. Now, okay, now it's the end of the lesson. It's the end of this video lesson. So you shall continue with doing your exercise that I have provided the links for year 6. Or you can print out the notes. I've posted the notes somewhere through the links that I've given you. For my kids, Scholar Dasung Italy, the links that I've provided, you can find it there, and you can print it and stick in your notebook. Okay, now let's recap week 14 lesson. Our solar system consists of Sun, Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. Or my very elderly mother just served us Nintendo. Okay, you can use that too. Earth is the only planet that is known to contain and support life. Other objects in the solar system are comets, asteroids, and man-made objects such as satellite, International Space Station, and Space Shuttle. Excellent. Now, it's the end of our lesson for today. So, if you have questions regarding the lesson today, you can ask me through my TikTok channel. You can follow me at Chiguruni. Subscribe my YouTube video, the Science Class Brunei. Like and share the video with your family and friends. Wherever you are, if you are year 6, we are learning the same lessons all around Brunei Darussalam. Until next week, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.